So we
Unopened boxes of matzah from last year.
they're still kosher for Pesach. I'm not sure if they're still fresh.
Okay.
That's
We ate last year's matzah right for Rosh Chodesh Adar.
yeah. I'm not sure if it's nice or
Or
maybe if it's
before.
sealed, maybe it's still.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it gets old. Okay, so we're going to learn today the halachot of kashering, specifically kashering for Pesach, but some of the halachot are good to know for all year round. Maybe the main question of kashering, which I meet, is Haggalah. Many times we have the questions of Haggalah. We'll get to how do we perform Haggalah. Some of the things we have arguments between them. We won't go through all the machlokot in the poskim because we want it to be more of a practical class of how do we kasher things, and so we'll try to focus on the practice of how do we kasher different parts in the kitchen.
Can we make recommendations about what we want to hear?
Okay, yeah.
Microwave,
Okay, Mike.
dishwasher,
Mm-hmm.
oven. Those are my.
Okay, so microwave, dishwasher, and oven, and also we'll talk about we'll start from Haggalah. The reason we start from Haggalah is in boiling in water, because we meet it a lot during the year. We meet it a lot during the year, and so I'll mention here a few arguments, a few machlokot before we go in. We want to go just so you can hear the terms. The first important term is kevol'o kach polto. The way we perform kashering, the whatever it is, it's the same way that it absorbs the food into it. Okay, so the same way it absorbs, that's also the way we perform the kashering. So if something absorbs with a liquid in it, for example, a pot with boiling soup on the fire, we'll kasher it in liquid, in water, when it's boiling on the fire. If something always gets absorbs food only from something from a liquid poured onto it, so we'll kasher it with pouring hot water onto it. And if something absorbs food when it's dry on the fire, so we'll kasher it in a dry way on the fire.
For
example, nets, barbecue, put pitot on it. There's a machloket, when we kasher something, do we go by the category or do we go by the exact temperature? And this is quite an important argument. We meet that machloket, it's argument when we kasher baking pans. It's in the heat, direct heat in the oven, baking pans, without any liquids. So do we go by the exact temperature? The maximum temperature of the oven was 250 Celsius, or we go by the category. And as soon as we go by the category, so we go by the most extreme way of kashering it. So that's one argument. There's another argument about do we go by the normal, regular use of that thing, or do we also ask ourselves maybe sometimes it was used with in a different ways? For example, a pot. Okay, a pot, usually you use a pot with boiling water, with liquids, with boiling water. But sometimes you might things might dry up. Okay, a frying pan. Okay, so what do you follow? Do you go by the majority of the use of it, or you don't go by the majority of the use? Even that's another machloket. And one more machloket which we'll mention, really won't go into it, is a question about chametz. Is chametz considered heiter habala? I will explain it in a moment, or isur habala? Can we now eat chametz? Yes, at this moment we can eat chametz. If we eat chametz now, we might be even doing the mitzvah of biur chametz, drinking l'chaim, so that might be a mitzvah of biur chametz. We can eat chametz. So now chametz is permitted. The same thing in just less than 2 weeks will be forbidden. Okay, so it's isur. Now it's heiter, it's permitted. In a few weeks it will be isur. In the halacha there's a difference, and we want to go into the differences just so we hear the terms between when something was absorbed when it was permitted. And it's easier to kasher it, in halachic terms, compared to something that was absorbed when it was already forbidden. For example, let's say we took meat and milk, cooked them together, and the pot absorbed something which is forbidden. So to kasher it, we need to be serious about it. When something was absorbed when it was permitted, so it's easier to kasher it. An example in halacha, we don't have today, is korban notar. Korban, you can eat it, let's say, for 2 days. Okay, so after the third day, it's now forbidden. So if it's absorbed something on the first day, so it absorbed something which is permitted, kashering it won't be so hard. Chametz now, it's permitted, but the same exact chametz in 2 weeks will be forbidden. So we have a question how to view chametz as heiter habala, the pot absorbed something which is permitted, and afterwards it became a problem. Or already from now, we know in 2 weeks, already from now, this chametz, this piece of cake, this knedalach, that will be chametz. So already now it's considered isur habala, something which is forbidden. We won't go into the difference between that. It has a meaning maybe for kashering frying pans. I'm not going to go into frying pans now. It has maybe a meaning of kashering oven pans. I'm also going to go into oven pans. But we should just to hear that the arguments. Okay, so that's basically a few topics. And now let's go into start kashering things. So the oven. Okay, how do we kasher the oven? The oven, relatively, it's quite easy to kasher. Okay, if you have a self-clean oven, it's very easy to kasher. You turn it on, and that's it, on a self-clean, and that's it. A friend once told me that he kashered the oven. I think his kid put a shoe inside it, and as soon as it gets locked, and that's it. That was the end of the shoe. I once kashered an oven. We went to an Airbnb. The oven was filthy. It was filthy, full of fats and everything. A filthy oven. And when you burn fats, there's a lot of smoke. So we had to open all of the windows of the house so the smoke detectors won't start going on, up, and but that's if you have a self-cleaning oven. Some don't like self-cleaning.
Clean it beforehand, you just.
No, if it's self-clean, that's the whole point of it. It's a self-clean.
As a matter of fact, if you put certain cleaning materials in the self-cleaning oven, you can actually
ruin the self-clean. So the idea of self-clean, it goes up. I'm not sure how many degrees. I think it's 500 Fahrenheit, and that's how you clean a self-clean. What happens if you don't have a self-clean? Okay, if you don't have a self-clean, so all the pans, we don't kasher the pans. Okay, we don't kasher the pans on Pesach. And as I said, we won't go into it now. It touches the food straight, and it's in direct heat, and we don't kasher the pans on Pesach of an oven, unless you have a self-clean oven. Put everything in, turn it on, and everything's fine. So how do you kasher the oven? You clean it well. If you can't reach all of the corners, so just put some kind of soap on it, and turn on the oven on maximum heat. For how long? So some say half an hour, some say 2 hours. I think what you should do is half an hour since the point it reached the maximum temperature. Okay, so you have that red light usually that's on when the heating element is on. As soon as it reaches the maximum temperature, so then wait half an hour. And what we're doing here is libun. We're actually burning anything which is left in the oven. Okay, so that's an oven is relatively.
What do you do with the pans?
What do you do with the pans? So a few options. You all buy new pans for Pesach. There's someone here in the neighborhood who's selling those aluminum sheets you put inside the oven. You can all kasher them with the inside the oven. Put it in the oven and turn it on maximum heat. But then don't put food straight on the pans. Like always use, I put tin foil on it, cover it with tin foil, aluminum foil, right? And then I use other pans on it, like disposable pans on it. So you don't. The reason why you don't kasher oven pans, libun is.
What are you talking about? Oven pans? Or are you talking about oven racks?
Both. Both the racks.
Oven pans could mean anything that you
Oven
put
pans,
any food in.
So
in the oven.
anything which you put in the oven and touches the food without any liquids. The reason we don't kasher it is, and that's goes into the machlokot, the arguments we mentioned beforehand. The highest level of kashering is called libun. That's when we have food without liquids, without a lot of liquids, touching the pan. So I make broikasim, for example. Okay, I make a quiche. I make something and it touches the pan without any liquids. That's considered the highest level of absorbing, or how it's hardest to clean. And to do that, so some say you need to kasher it until it really becomes red. And that will usually, you won't use it for Pesach if you do it. Okay, so you have to kasher it until it becomes red. So you can't kasher a pan of an oven. Okay, some say you can, but as I said, I'm not going to machlokot. I'm just learning the practice. So that's why you don't kasher them and we don't use them for Pesach. You can put them inside the oven and then cover it with aluminum foil, and then you aren't using the pans themselves. The pans are clean already. You're just using the aluminum foil. And so that's about the oven. Do you need to open the doors of the oven? What do you think? No. So you don't need. Some have. It's nice to open the doors and clean what's inside, but usually, yeah, you have. I mean, take apart the doors. You have to take the doors apart. So it's better to do it, but you don't need to take the doors apart. You can, if you want to break the doors of the oven, so you can take it apart. I'm not sure if it's recommended. And then you won't have to kasher them for Pesach. So that's also a way. What is it? I want get a new oven. I once kashered an oven for Pesach, a very old oven, I must say. It was a very old oven, and something there broke, and the oven died, and they got a new oven for Pesach, and everyone was happy because we didn't have to kasher the oven, and the oven was old. So in any case, they wanted to buy a new oven, and just okay, we need a reason to buy a new oven, so that was good. Okay, that's about kashering the oven. If you already mentioned an oven, let's also mention a few other things with heating elements. Okay, how do you kasher a stove? How do you kasher a stove? We'll have gas, right? We have gas. How do you kasher a stove? We have three kinds of stoves. We'll do it into three kinds. Okay, maybe we have four, but we'll do it into three kinds. One is the regular gas that we have, the regular gas that we have. So what do you do with them? You have electric stoves, okay, and you have induction. Induction brings a lot of questions here. So in a regular year, let's ask like that. I made a dairy soup. 10 minutes afterwards, I made a chicken soup. Hopefully not for the same meal, right? Do I have to kasher the gas between one and one? No. The reason is, even if some soup spilled on the how do you call it, on the tripods, how do you call them?
On the burners.
On the burners. So it's so hot, it kashers itself all the time. It burns whatever falls, whatever touches it.
And then on the grates.
Yeah. So if it kashers itself. But for Pesach, we are so machmir in Pesach. So what do? Two options. Some people have a different part of grates, so just change them and put the new ones on. And some, like me, we just cover it with tin aluminum foil, and that's it. And it doesn't take so long to cover it, and that's it. So you clean it well, and cover it with aluminum foil. Underneath the burners, there's an email, right? The oven itself. What do we do with that? So for Pesach, obviously, we also just cover it with aluminum foil, and that's it. What happens if we mentioned that already, through the year? Okay, let's say I'm making now, I'm frying something, and a few French fries, fell on that in the stove. Can I take it and eat it? No. So why is it the question? Maybe it's non-kosher. Maybe had milk spilling on it, and then meat spilling on it, so maybe it's not kosher. And the answer is, if we know that it is clean, okay, we can see it's clean. So if something fell on it, you can eat it. So let's start from other way. If you can see it's not clean and something fell on it, don't eat it. If you see that the surface is clean and nothing in the last 24 hours spilled on it, so you can eat it. Okay, so that's about. But for Pesach, in any case, we cover it and with aluminum foil, and that's it. electric burners, okay, that you just put the pot on them, and then obviously it kashers itself all the time, right? So what you do is you turn it on the highest heat for half an hour, and then if there's any food left on it, it will burn. Okay, that's now we have a question about induction. Now, why is there a question about induction?
Doesn't get very hot.
Doesn't get very hot. Doesn't get very hot. So we have a question about induction. And here we have an argument, a machloket between the Ashkenazi and the Sephardi, which isn't just for the induction, anything from glass. According to the Shulchan Aruch, anything from glass doesn't need to be kashered. It just needs to be rinsed, and that's it. Many of my Sephardi friends don't have dairy mugs and meat mugs. They have one set of glass mugs, and that's it. Glass doesn't absorb. As you can see, it stays clear. The Rama held, at least for Pesach, and maybe also for the whole year round, that you can't even kasher glass. There's two different views on glass. I'm not sure if the glass in those days was different. Maybe it was the same as our glass. I'm not sure. But in any case, the Rama holds, since glass comes from sand, right? It comes from quartz, which is found in sand, at least the olden way they used to make glass. And we know that anything made out of clay can't be kashered at all, so you don't kasher glass. Okay, so according to the Sephardim, you don't need to kasher glass, and according to the Ashkenazim, we don't kasher glass. Same with induction, according to the Sephardim, just clean it well, and that's it, and you don't need to kasher it. According to the Ashkenazim, we don't kasher induction. And you can buy, people who have induction, they have those silicone mats you put on it, and they claim it works quite well and heats up the food. I don't have induction, I never tried it. Hot plate, a Shabbos hot plate. So what do you do a Shabbos hot plate? Clean it well, uncover it, okay, clean it well, cover it, and turn it on the highest heat for some time. And the reason is here, as soon as you cover it, no food touches the hot plate, and that's it. So that's quite simple about the hot plate. Okay, so we'll go to, so we have three things that are going also to do agala. So microwave, dishwasher, and mecham and kumkum, and then we'll go to agala if we have time. So microwave, we have 4 stages in cleaning and kashering a microwave. First is cleaning the microwave quite well. And I'll give you a tip. Clean also the top of the microwave. I once went to a hotel, I went to kasher the microwave. I looked inside the microwave, looked quite clean, and just cleaned it fast. But I didn't poke my head inside to look at the top. So the first, I'll tell you how I found out it was filthy. So the first stage is clean it well. Second stage, wait 24 hours before you kasher it. 24 hours, yeah, 24. Yeah, don't use it for 24 hours. And then you take a cup or a plate, a bowl or something. No styrofoam. Styrofoam will get melted in the microwave. Take something which can be used in a microwave, put some water inside it and a bit of soap, and turn it on for 3 minutes. What happens now? All the steam will go up and clean the microwave. I did it in the hotel. I saw that there was some gunk coming down. I cleaned it up. I did it again, and again there was gunk coming down. And then I looked inside and looked at the top of the microwave. I thought it was disgusting. So I had to clean everything. I'm not even sure that we even use the microwave afterwards. Clean everything, and then you can kasher it again. So clean the microwave well. Wait for 24 hours. Put a cup with water and turn it on for 3 minutes. And the last thing is, since the plate, according to Ashkenazim, we don't kasher glass plates. So put something in between the plate and the food. A cardboard box, a piece of cardboard could be quite a good idea. Plastic is not a good idea, and aluminium is also not a good idea at all. And if you want to know why, so try it at home, or maybe don't try it at home. Yeah, okay. But don't try it at home. So that's about a microwave. Okay. Dood, okay, a dood or not dood, an urn, okay, a kumkum. How do we clean a kumkum? So there's 2 kinds of kumkumim. The regular kumkum that you don't put food on it. It's quite simple. Clean it well. clean also all of the, how do you call it, the stone on the bottom, like put different things that clean it. And then just boil it, fill it up until the end and boil it. And that's how we kasher and earn.
Why do you need to do anything? It's never had chametz.
So that's the truth also. If it never had chametz, so you don't need to kasher it. But during the year, we aren't so careful about it. And maybe we did put chametz on top of it, warmed up, we had crumbs coming in. So it's true. If through the year you know that you didn't have chametz in it, so that's fine. But usually we don't care about through the year.
Our first kumkum when we came to Israel had a feature that the top actually had a metal insert to enable you to warm things on top of
On top of the kumkum.
The kumkum broke. We did not buy another one.
Okay, yeah. When you put things on the top of it, so then you have to do haga'ala for the top of the kumkum. Yeah, like a Shabbos urn, you have the top of it, which is like metal. So you have to do a haga'ala for the top.
They're often not metal though. Mine is not metal.
And then if it's not metal, usually you want to put also something on top of it because it doesn't heat up so well. How do you do haga'ala? Hopefully we'll get to it today. Hopefully, if not, so we have a problem. A toaster, you can't toaster like a press toaster, you can't kosher for Pesach. And we said we need to do a dishwasher. Okay, dishwasher. And in dishwasher, there's a machloket. Some hold it's almost impossible to kasher a dishwasher. Some don't kasher a dishwasher. The question is how to view it. Something which just gets hot water on it, or something which is like on the fire itself because it has a heating element inside. So some don't kasher dishwashers, or the kasher it's a piece of metal, boiling piece. They take a piece of metal or stone or something, boil, put it on the gas until it really heats up, and then go with boiling water and the piece of metal all over the dishwasher. So some do it like that way. Many are makel, and they say, how do you kasher the dishwasher? The same way it absorbs the food. How does it absorb the food? For the dishwasher. So clean all the dishwasher well. And then run it empty. And also, you can also buy those special soaps for dishwasher, right? And you put it inside, it cleans up the dishwasher, and that's fine.
We don't have to worry about the plastic wrap.
Oh, and that's so about the racks themselves of the food. So it's better to do hagala for them, and or to change them to have different racks. If it's hard, so many are makel to kasher them inside the dishwasher. Like turn the dishwasher on for the highest and longest time and program and let it just clean itself. Okay, so that's about the dishwasher. In any case, you kasher it only 24 hours after you used it the last time. So same as microwave, you wait 24 hours, clean it well, wait 24 hours, and then turn it on for the longest program and warmest program that you have. That's for dishwasher and hagala. Hagala, we meet many times during the year. For example, I use by mistake a dairy bowl with meat soup, and we find hagala many times a year. I'm not sure how many times a year I answered, explain to people how to do hagala. Okay, but quite a few. So hagala is simple. The idea of it is simple. When I'm doing hagala, it's actually cleaning whatever I'm cleaning inside boiling water. I do hagala for something which touched boiling liquid. Okay, if it touched boiling or hot thing which was dry, like we said, a plate or a pan that had borekasses inside the oven, so we don't do hagala for that. Hagala is when we had a contact with something hot and with a liquid in between. Okay, so how do you perform hagala? You clean the things well. Some things you can't clean so well. Some knives, for example, have those teeth. You can't clean them so well. So you don't do hagala for them. So you clean it well. Preferably wait 24 hours before you do hagala. You take a big pot, fill it up with water, put a bit of soap in it, and boil the water. Okay, as soon as the water boils, then you can do hagala. How do you do hagala? You put the thing inside the pot for a few seconds, take it out, and rinse it in cool water. In what case we do not rinse in cold water? If you do hagala for glass. Okay, sometimes you do hagala for glass, you won't go into it, it will break. You rinse it, if you put it inside for a few seconds, say 3 seconds, and then rinse it with cold water. It's important to know, when I take something to the mikveh, all of the dish needs to be inside the mikveh at once. By Haggalah, it's not like that. So if I have a long knife, for example, and I want to kasher it by Haggalah, and my pot isn't so big, I put the knife, dip it inside half of it, take it out, and then dip the other half inside. So that's how you can do Haggalah. Same if you have a pot. If you have a huge pot, you do Haggalah inside, and you want to kasher something smaller, but it's not so small. So you put it inside and turn it around, and each time you keep it in for a few seconds, and that's how you perform Haggalah. So you can do Haggalah for bowls, for soup pots, for lids, for cutlery. Okay, cutlery is very many times they do Haggalah for cutlery, also for Pesach. You put it inside, take it out, wash it for a few seconds, and that's it. Any questions in the next half minute that we have about things we didn't touch? No? Okay, so Chag Kasher v'Sameach. Next week, I'll probably be in the base, Kashering.